Hello everyone, welcome to another card of the month tutorial with Papercrafting Australia. My name is Tangi. Thank you so much for joining me on another Saturday afternoon, or you may be joining us later on a replay. So thank you if you are tuning in on YouTube down the track. So we're doing the June card of the month kit tutorial today, and we're going to make a sunburst or starburst card depending on what terminology you've heard before. Some people call it sunburst, some people call it starburst, so it's either. But I'll just quickly check in, make sure we've got a couple of people, looks like, in on our YouTube screen. Stream rather, scream. We've also got a couple of you in on Facebook, so thank you for joining us. Ooh, my online captions for Facebook look like they're going a bit crazy, so hopefully they're working okay for you at home watching. Tony says, yeah, back again. So some of you will have already earlier today done the Crafternoon box tutorial with us for the first tutorial for June. But if you're joining us for the first time, by all means, jump back into our YouTube channel later on. We've got plenty of tutorials so far this year. I think we've already done, it's something like 25 tutorials. I've been doing 5 times 5 months of the year. That must be 25. So there's plenty of content for you to check out on our YouTube channel. So make sure you hit the like button if you see a tutorial that you've liked, and subscribe to our channel. And we will make sure that you get notified when we go live again, or when we've got new content for you. You can also change the little notification bell on YouTube from, I think it's like standard or something, to all, and you'll get notified whenever we go live and whenever there's new content there. Otherwise you'll just kind of get highlights, so you'll get one every now and again. But anyway, we have got a lovely tutorial for you. So we're going to be doing, as I said, the sunburst cards. So we've got Tony and Sharon and a couple of, oh no, it looks like you guys are lone rangers on Facebook there at the moment. We've got a few of you in on YouTube, so thank you for coming back. Tony and Margaret's back again, Sharon's back again. The whole family's all here again. So yeah, so we will get on to what we're going to do for the day. So card of the month kit. So for those of you who haven't seen our card of the month kits before, we have, comes in a nice big cardboard envelope, and every month you get a little crafty postcard. So just to recap for people, this month we've got Creative People Don't Have a Mess, they just have ideas lying around everywhere. And I must again apologize for the rubbish junk mess that is in the background when you get my face camera, because it is preparing time for me to move the studio to the new house that we're moving to. But that'll all happen in the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully it'll tidy up. But this is the example that I made for us today. Just going to move my keyboard out of the way so I don't kind of mash letters and buttons. So this is the sunburst card. So this is a 5x7 card. So these are the cards that we make size wise in the card of the month kit. Our sister product, the Crafternoon box, we make A6 size cards, so a little bit smaller. And we also make some 3-dimensional projects and other sort of home decor type things. But just focusing on the cards for today, so this gorgeous sunburst pattern. Now this example, I've actually put a little bit of white space between each, and that's an easy thing to do. But today I'm going to make one where they all kind of join up, and you know, there's not that gap. So it'll be a little bit more of the traditional sunburst. Hi Deb, back again. Thank you for coming back. We love having you all come back. So today we're going to go through, and from the card of the month kit, you will have received 4 card bases in the colours for this month. So these are the Kaisercraft Weave cardstock. So we've got the purple is Periwinkle, the pink one is Lipstick, the yellow one is Canary, and the green aqua one is Mermaid. So they come for you pre-scored at the 5x7 dimensions. I'm going to go with a pink card today. I'm not normally, I don't know, I keep saying this, I'm not normally a pink card person. I'm not normally a pink person, but I keep making pink cards. So I'll pop those ones aside, pop them up there, and I'll pop this up there. Now in your kits you will also have received a little bit of white ribbon, so you can cut that down, or you know, make some little bows out of it, or you can wrap it around cards, so we'll have a play with that today. You will have got a couple of gold discs, gold circles. I just cut a couple of those out just for fun. Gives it a little bit of the, on the card, it's a bit of the kind of blingy sun kind of effect, if you like. Would look also really good with, you know, a patterned paper or a plain paper, and then just popping some smudgy ink around the edge just to blend it in a little bit. That would look really cute and sunshiny. We have got the Papercraft rhinestones, so this is in ice blue. So it does match some of the patterned papers that have come in this gorgeous set of patterned papers by Paper Rose. It's the plaid and watercolour mix. So they've got the 12 watercolour papers, and on the reverse side some coordinating plaid papers. So we're going to be playing with those today to make the backgrounds. So this is just a bit of a selection, if you like, in a bit bigger kind of format. I'm going to use these two today. I am going to use them this tutorial, guys. I got them out for the last tutorial and went, hang on, I've mixed up my two tutorials. So you can see lots of different plaid patterns in there. Now for me, these aren't really, they're kind of a bit muddy, some of them, in terms of colours that I would normally work with. But once you start to kind of mix and match them, you'll see how it kind of transforms. Now on the back of these, they have these beautiful coordinating watercolour pages, which personally I would use this side a lot more than I would use the plaid side. However, again, mix and match a couple of these together and they actually do work. So that's what we're playing with today. Now, just recently we started providing all these extra bits. Now, when we cut down your cards, card sizes, we end up with some extra cardstock. So what you have been ending up with is some sort of bookmark size, you know, sort of 2 or so inches pieces of card. You've also ended up with some smaller rectangles, which can be used for bunches of things. You can use them to, if you've got punches or dies at home, you can use that there. And it is just nice to have just a small amount of that cardstock on hand to do some embellishing or some, you know, items that complement. And you'll also have some black and white spare cardstock. Now these are the smaller pieces, so they are your spares. When you look at the biggest size of rectangles, these are your mats, your writing mats, so in the white. So that's the Papercraft smooth cardstock. And then you'll have your borders for the front, your front card, so bordering your backgrounds. This is the Couture Creations smooth photographic black cardstock. And then there's a couple of, or one of each of the colours of cardstock in the border size. So these, if you wanted to, if I get my, whoops, things stuck to things. Once you've got your card kind of just fold it up so that we're looking at that size. Normally we would, with our layouts, we would go ahead and put a black border or a white border, depending on what you're wanting to do. And then you would go in with your patterned paper just on the inside of that and, you know, do your card there. These we provided as a bit of an option. We cut them down to the right size, as the same size as the borders, so that if you wanted to, you could actually start to make, you know, two-toned cards. Instead of having a black or a white border, you can tone it down that way and then add your background in there. So it was just a little bit of an option for you, just to be able to, you know, try some different colors. My style personally is just fairly clean. I like to have a white border or a black border and just keep it fairly simple. But some of you really love your colors, and we just wanted to give you some options. So hopefully that is working out for you. So just remember that your bigger sizes that come in the kit are your sizes to use for your mats and borders. So I'm just going to pop these coloured ones aside because I'm not going to use those. I'll put my spares aside. Hello Cheryl on Facebook, thank you for joining us. Hope you're enjoying so far and see what we're going to be making. Okay, so I'm just going to pop one of my black borders here because I'm going to use that. And I've also gone and cut a white piece of cardstock. Now this can be, for this technique, if you're not going to put the white space in between, you can use any colour of scrap cardstock that you like. So if you've got a 4x6 piece of cardstock, and I'm sure all of you have, it can be any colour you like. I've just chosen a white one because it's just easier to see in the tutorials. So this one I've cut down to 4 inches by 6 inches, and that is going to be the base for all of those beautiful slices of pattern paper for us to adhere them to before we put them onto our card front. So if you are just preparing your pieces in the background there, just get that all prepped and ready. So just one of your black borders, or you can use one of your white mats. Personally, I like to put the white mat on the inside of a coloured card, just so I've got somewhere that's light and bright and easy to write on, so that the person receiving the card can read it nice and easily. But you can just as easily write directly onto some of these cardstock colours. They're fairly light, so they will take a black pen or even a blue pen. But if you've got like a white gel pen or something like that, that would also work really nicely. But we're just trying to combat and give you, I guess, a bit of smooth cardstock there, just to offset the slight grain on the inside of your card. So the grain mainly should be on the outside, and then the smoother surface on the inside. I'm just going to burnish this card because it is a little bit wonky, floppy at the moment. There we go. Okay, so let's pop my card over there. Let's get started with making the bits that will go onto the actual background. So as I said before, a 4x6 inch piece of paper. Now I am taking two 6x6 inch pieces of patterned paper. Because they're double-sided, I'm actually going to use all 4 sides of the design today. So if I pop that aside, I'm going to get just my little craft mat. I am going to get my guillotine. Okay, and to start things off, I'm actually going to cut, for each piece of paper, I'm going to cut 3 sections. Okay, so I'm going to cut 1.5 inches wide by 6 inches. So because I know they're 6 inch papers, I don't have to worry about cutting that way. So I just have to cut them into 1.5 inch strips. And basically by cutting 3 1.5 inch strips, I'm technically going to cut 4 because the 6x6 paper will cut 1.5 inches 4 times over. And there's nothing wrong with having a few extras. You can always save them to mix and match on some other Sunburst cards. But I hope your Saturdays are going well all around the country, and in fact over the world. We've got some friends in from overseas. Here, I'm in Melbourne, in Australia. We are locked down for COVID reasons yet again, number 4. And we've just had it extended, so it's a 2-week lockdown in total. So nothing like our previous massive one that went for months on end, but a little bit frustrating and a little bit tiresome nonetheless. But we're all doing our bit. I've got my COVID vaccine booked in for next weekend. So my first one, I'll be able to go and do. Should be great. Okay. So then I'm just going to get my pattern papers. Now I'm actually going to flip these ones, some of them at least, so that I've got both sides of the paper showing. What I'm going to do is take my craft knife and a steel ruler, and I'm actually going to cut these on a diagonal from the top left hand side down to the bottom right hand side. Now the reason I've flipped these over is because so that I can cut them on the same angles, so that when I go and place them, they line up correctly. This will just work a little bit better. So I'm just going to cut those. So top left to the bottom right hand corner. If you would prefer to do it top right to bottom left, that's okay. Just cut them on the diagonal. Line things up, hopefully fairly straight. Now you could do this with your guillotine or paper trimmer if you feel so inclined. That's okay as well. Do this way. It seems to be a bit easier for me. This is a nice simple card. It's fairly quick and easy to put together, and it uses up a lot of your little scrap type pieces, like a 1.5 by 6 inch piece of paper can quite often be the perfect size. It's exactly what you've got. Let's hope the lockdown doesn't go too much longer. Indeed. Indeed. I have a brand new house to go and see and move into, and lockdown is not proving to be very helpful with that process. Okay. So for the moment, I'm just cutting one of each of those colours. I'm just going to keep my what do you call it? My cutting mat. There we go. I haven't had enough cups of tea today, I think. I'm just going to keep that close by so that as I go through, if I need to quickly chop up some more, I can make that happen. So I'm just going to, whoops, that one is definitely that side. Another one of those there. Just getting these in kind of the order so that I can get those, can see them, have them ready. So I'm just mixing and matching, and what you can see is that as you kind of pop these together, you're going to get that sunburst type effect. I think I'm going to need to cut another one of each perhaps. Just depends on your card. So that's gone just over a half, so I'm actually going to need to cut another, we're going to have to cut two, I think. So I might have to cut all of this. Worst case scenario, we'll have a few extras to use on some other cards and mix and match later on down the track. So it's going to make sure that we've got them all. Yep, got all the colours there. So two of each colour you're going to need. My last one I only needed, I think I only did in total 3 pieces for each one. And that was because I had the gaps in between. So you just have to kind of measure it out as to how many. The other thing that you can do is if you wanted to have wider, that has not cut through all the way. If you wanted to have wider sunbursts, you can actually change it to a 1.5, so from a 1.5 inch to, you know, a 2 inch or a 1 3/4 inch, whatever it is. Just make sure that your panels are the same across all of your strips, because then it will be even. If you don't like even, you can also go in and make some 1 inch wide, some 1.5 inch wide, and mix it up a little bit. It's totally up to you. Essentially, it's just cutting a piece of paper and then cutting it on the diagonal. Simples, just like the little meerkats say on the TV. I love those guys. Hello, Anne Kirkpatrick. Thank you so much. Oh, Margaret, you've got lockdown as well till June the 20th. Wow. That's in Canada for anybody in Australia who's currently panicking. Jeepers. Well, that's, yep, more of an extension. That's just more craft time, isn't it, Margaret? Government mandated craft time. That's what I call it in Australia, but it's also a bit of a thing of, I actually work from home with my other job, so I can't really, that was a job that I picked up during quarantine, so it's, I don't really have an excuse. I have to still work. That's the only bummer that's come out of it, is that it doesn't actually give me more craft time. Hi Kim, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Happy to have you. All right, just line these guys up a little bit more. What did I do? Then the purpley coloured one, and then the blue. Alrighty, so we're going to be working around in that kind of pattern. I might not need all of these strips, but I've got them ready to go. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to get just a piece of scrap paper or photocopy paper to work on, just because this gets a little bit gluey and a bit messy. Pop my little 4x6 piece of cardstock. Oops, I've got bits flying everywhere. Actually, do you know what? I'm just going to do it on my cutting mat because it's going to give me, I can always clean that off. And I don't really want everything sticking to the paper. That wouldn't be good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose a colour to work with to begin with, to start somewhere roughly in the middle. Now you can start anywhere you like. I personally I just want it to be kind of fairly straight up and down, vertical, and then it will be an even kind of spread. So I'd already made a mark at the 3-inch mark down the bottom, so halfway along, and I'm just going to make one at the top just so that I can line up that panel to kick things off. I'm going to get my Couture Creations liquid glue, my pen, and you know what, I'm actually, yes, no I am. I was going to say I was going to use my tear tape to put it all around, but for this one I'm just going to use glue just to make it a little bit, I don't know, seems a bit easier at this stage. So I'm just kind of measuring with my finger roughly how far up I need to glue. I'm going to flip this over and pop some liquid glue. I haven't had it sitting up the right way, so it's just a little bit tough to come out. So just a little bit of liquid glue on there. And I'm just going to line up this point down the bottom and then with the top there. So what we're going to do is all of these points on this patterned paper, as we start to make the shape go around each way, we're just going to make that make them all line up, and they should all butt up next to each other quite nicely. So I'm going to take my next piece. I'm just going to work around to the left for the moment. Hi Diane, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Hope your Saturday is going well. Again, I'm just measuring roughly because I'm going to put the glue on this side because I'm using the watercolor side facing up for this piece. A little bit of glue. Just can't quite see that point there, but just keeping that point nice and even, and then all of my card paper will actually match up there. So we're going from that to this guy, and it's just a matter of working all the way around. This is kind of the edge where I'll end up getting a little bit of glue hanging off the end because I'm just doing it roughly, messily, quickly, but it's the kind of technique that you can have a lot of fun with. Don't panic too much about the bottom here and how neat or straight that is lining up. We are actually going to put a small strip or a circle over that little section there, so it will hide that. You're wanting the rest of the card to be the focus at the moment. Next one is our lovely pink watercolor. 32 degrees for the next week, Margaret. Wowzers. Is there such is there such a thing as too much online shopping? I don't. Oh, look, I think there is, but also I don't know. So for those of you on YouTube, there's been a question asked on Facebook about is there such a thing as too much online shopping? I think Margaret's been online shopping too. I didn't get the context because it's scrolled up, but we've been getting things prepared so that you can survive in lockdown. Oh my gosh. Alrighty, so we're working our way around to the left on this one and just doing the papers in order. Of course, if you were using scraps and you perhaps didn't have multiples of each color, of course you can go to town on whatever pattern, design, no pattern. It's, you know, just random assortment of colors. That is totally fine. I'm just using up these pieces because I've cut them, so why not? Purple one next. I feel like I'm doing this slightly off camera again. Yep, good on me. Once we're in the new studio at the new house, it's going to be much better to set up my camera a little bit higher so that I can have a bigger workspace, which will be lovely. And I won't have to reach so far on as to what I'm doing on this desk. Now I'm just going to put the glue directly onto the white card for this bit because I know it's just such a small sliver, and I don't want to end up with too much glue on my mat, which I will anyway, and I'll have to clean, but it just seems like a waste, and it starts to get in my way and all over my fingers, and it's not the funnest of times. Okay. So now we can go back to the top center section and start working our way around. Now I just want to keep my pattern going. So this is the pink watercolor side. What have we all asking about bank managers? If someone's going to the bank for some cash, like, can you get some extra for me? That would be wonderful. Love a bit of extra, wouldn't we all? I've tried winning lotto this year a few times and it's not been working for me, so I've got to come up with a plan B. Okay. Onto blue plaid or flannelette, as we like to call it in Australia. I always read books as a kid and a teenager, particularly things like, the Babysitter's Club. This is showing my age, back when that was the first thing. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. Yeah, so reading books as a kid, particularly like anything that came from America. And they were always referring to plaid, and I was like, what the heck is plaid? And back then, we didn't really have Google the way it is today. So I just kind of kept reading these books, just imagining what this plaid pattern was. So I didn't really get it. And I didn't really think to ask. I think I thought it was a bit of a stupid question to have to ask. So I don't know. I don't remember what I actually thought it might be in my head. I just know that it was one of those things where I, kind of just never asked. I just went on with my life and dealt with it. It was just a pattern. Now we've got Google and everything is all right. Alrighty. We're nearly there for this part. What's my next bit? Pink. A little bit of pink. Okay. What have you said, Sharon? You would have put the glue on the card. Yeah, it's a sensible idea. Just put glue on the white card and then put your pieces of paper on. I like to do things a little bit the hard way. Sometimes. Most of the time. All right, we're up to blue. A little bit of blue. Oh, look, I might as well go straight on here now. Got such a small amount left. Put the lid on my glue while I'm thinking about it, because otherwise I'm going to come back to dried up glue. But you can see this is such a simple, easy technique. Just cut the papers to the right size, and realistically they just need to be matching sizes, or you can have a big variety of sizes. It's totally up to you. I'm going for this little one. Pop a little bit on the tip of that there. All right. So these two are little extra pieces that I can pop off to the side. And now you'll be able to see I did make a bit of a glue mess underneath here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab, of course it's not within reach, I'm just going to grab a tissue and just dab a little bit of this excess liquid glue off the back, because I'm going to cut around the edge and I don't want to end up with all that glue gunked onto my scissor blades. And I'll just give my mat a little bit of a wipe. Could have used a baby wipe, probably would have been better. But look at that. Hi Julie, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Don't forget, if you are tuning in halfway through, you can always go back at the end of the tutorial. These will be posted, or they go up automatically onto our YouTube page, so you can always look up Papercrafting Australia there. And we have got all of our past tutorials. So I was just saying at the start, I think we've got about 25 tutorials up there from this year so far. And there'll be another 5 tutorials across the month this month. That's a mix of we do 1 card of the month kit tutorial per month and 4 tutorials as part of our Crafternoon box. If you're not sure what all the buzz is about the Crafternoon box, you can check that out at papercraftingaustralia.com. We do have sales open at the moment for our July kits, so they will ship a little bit later this month. And if you're wanting to secure one of those, you need to get in before the end of tomorrow, the 6th of June. So we close the orders off on the 6th of June each month. We generally launch on the last day of the month previous, so whether it's the 30th or the 31st, or the 28th or 29th if it's February. And then you've got sort of 6 days to place your orders. And yeah, then we get the orders all ready and ship them off to you and then start the tutorial run for the month. So that's how that works. You can see some of our old ones. You can check out our Instagram for some of the projects that we've done in the past. So there's some cards and there's 3D projects, all kinds of things. Okay, let's start putting this together. So I just trimmed across just behind the back, or trimmed off all those little extra edges. And as you can see, we're going to come up with, a really cute little sunburst. This is a nice pattern. It's almost like a quilted kind of design. Yeah, I think it's really sweet. Okay, so we just need to dress it up a little bit. So, I don't know, what are we going to do, guys? Now, I did bring in some, of these were some sentiments, because we didn't put sentiments or greetings in this month's kit, but these are some of the ones that we provided in the March kit. So these were the really rainbow sentiments from Paper Rose. So I think what I might do is I might just pull out, I'm going to choose Love Ya Babe. I've got someone in mind that I can send this off to. I think she'll be pretty happy to get a little card in the mail. Just having a tough time of it at work at the moment. It's a very busy time, but also COVID. No, like it's a busy time every year at this time of the year for her, but it's COVID has really kicked them kicked them while they're down, which is just, yep, thanks COVID. You like that technique, Margaret? It's a good one, I think. Just doing the pretty little pattern. So I think I'm just going to pop the sun towards the bottom. I'm going to pop a Love You Babe on there, and then I might just make a little white bow, just to make that all come together. Chop a bit off there. So you guys have seen me make a bow before, but for anybody who, let me do it on a darker background. Anyone who hasn't, so I just kind of make a little bit of an M shape with my ribbon. Don't know if you can see that there. And then you're just going to pinch these top 2 kind of bits together, and then you're just going to tie them in a knot. So just those 2 little loops at the top. Got to get it through first. There we go. And that just kind of gets your loops and your little sticky outy bits at the bottom in the right direction, in the right shape. And then you can just trim your little legs off once you get it fixed onto your card. See in a minute about whether that's big enough or not. All right, let's get this card together. I'm going to get some of the Couture Creations double-sided tape. So this is the 6mm tape. I'm just going to start popping everything together. So I've just got to tear strips of that off. It's nice and quick and easy. It's it lasts forever, guys. I've been going on this 50-meter roll for all year so far with the tutorial kits. So it takes up less space than any tape runners and bits and pieces. The only thing that bugs me, I've said it before, I'll tie you some, Margaret. Tie some rope ribbons, some little bows. Is that something you guys want? Some pre-tied bows to come in your kits? I might be able to make that happen. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the only thing that bugs me about this tape is just the, my lack of fingernails and having the struggles I have with tearing the backing papers off, and then the waste, the rubbish that you then need to get rid of. So that's the only thing. But I am getting better at it. The more I use it, the better I am. And then just getting this to line up straight. So, whoops, stick. I've said before, I kind of like to eyeball. This isn't going to help. Don't move that around. Eyeball it from the corners, so the bottom left and the top right, just to see if I can line them up that way, and then drop my cards down. So they're never perfect, but that kind of gives me the effect or the opportunity to get them lined up somewhat straight. Hi Marjorie, thank you for joining us on Facebook today. Hope you're having a great weekend, and I hope this gives you some ideas for things that you might be able to make this weekend. If anyone's looking for a fairly quick and simple kind of card, this is definitely the way to go. You can jump back onto YouTube later on to our channel and catch up on the bits that you missed at the start. It doesn't look like much at the moment because it's upside down. There you go. Alright. What have we said? Tony says on YouTube it's an effective pattern. Great effect, says Sharon. Everyone loves Happy Mail. Oh, we all love Happy Mail, don't we? The old craft deliveries. Perfect is a dirty word. Yeah, perfect's a little bit like that F word, fussy cut. Maybe I should make up a big poster chart that says these are the naughty words of the craft room. F is for fussy cut, P is for perfect. Okay, so this one's a little bit easier to make straight. I was like, I hope I've just done that straight. Alrighty, so I could have, before I stuck all of this down, I could have attached this on and cut it off, but because it's just a straight line, I'm just going to chop a small piece off with my guillotine. Pop that in. And then there's no umming and ahhing about placement. It's just that decision is made for me. I've just chopped it. Wherever it got chopped, that's where it's going. So that one I will be popping down there. Who said that? Oh, Tony's short, fat, arthritic fingers, did you say? So some pre-done would be perfect. Look, ask and you shall receive, ladies. I will make that happen for you. Hi, Lindy. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. I hope your weekend's going well and that you've... not sure how you've found us today, but thank you for finding us. Maybe just scrolling on Facebook, and it's... we all go for those little scrolls on Facebook on the weekend, don't we? Got a little bit of time up your sleeve. You can relax on the couch and have a little bit of a scroll, and voila, you find a craft tutorial. Happy days. We do pop these replays up on our YouTube page there, Lindy. So if you've missed the start and you want to go back and see the rest of the tutorial just so that you can get the dimensions and make one of these on your own, then that will all be up on our YouTube very, very shortly. So it goes up, takes a few minutes once we've finished the live stream, because we stream live on Facebook and on YouTube. So a little bit for, just in case technology doesn't play nicely with us or the internet doesn't play nicely with us, but also so that we can pop those replays up and people can come back in and tune in a bit later. Okay, I'm going to get some of the Couture Creations double-sided foam tape, because if you've watched a tutorial of mine before, you know that I like a little bit of dimension on these little greetings. I'm just going to pop 2 little sections of that there. So everything that we've used in the tutorial today, you can purchase online from our store. So it's at papercraftingaustralia.com. We do the card of the month kits once a month, so they're on sale until the end of tomorrow. And we also do the Crafternoon box, which is a little bit bigger. You get some more tools in it. You get 4 tutorials a month instead of 1. And you get an ink pad. You can choose from an ink cube or an ink pad, depending on what your crafting style is. Pop up the sentiment, says Margaret. That's exactly right. I don't think I have tried using a fork to make my bows. I think the tines would just get in the way for me. I've kind of managed now to to make it just like this. So, but it's a good idea if you're struggling to make bows. Maybe give it a shot with a fork. Now, do we need some bling on here, everybody? What do we think? Got that so far. So that's a cute little card. It's not a little card, it's a 5x7, so it's actually quite big. A husk and it all happens. Yes, that's right. Excellent. Are we bling? Are we pink bling? Are we purple bling? Now we've got to have something on here, surely. Yes, bling, yes, bling. All right. Pink or purple, guys? What do we think? I'll just clean up my mess while we while we decide. Yes, says Anne. Yes for bling. When don't you want bling? Hello, Miss Linda. You've been quiet on this feed. Welcome. When don't you want bling? Bling, bling, bling. YouTube says bling. Both. Both's a good idea. I think I did both on the one earlier today. I'm going a bit crazy with the bling today. Alrighty. I'm going to get a couple of these off. And actually, I'm going to do it down on this one. I've got to do 3 because my brain won't work if it's not 3. Whoops. Oh, come here. There's a little bit there, and I'll do a couple on the other side. Sort of kind of even it out a bit. I think we're going to end up with quite a bit of bling on this, guys. I think I'm going to go a bit crazy. Linda has been lurking. Hopefully not lurking and working in the house. I hope she's got a little bit of Linda time. We all need a bit of me time, don't we? Pop one there. And let's pop another one of these over here. Whoa. Oh gosh, there it is. I thought it had gone way further than that, but that's good. Let's go right up in the top there somewhere. And I'll do another little pink one. Way up over here. There we go. All right, there's a bit of bling for you, ladies. Okay, so that is the finished card that we did for today. So it goes with, I like to kind of do a little bit of a portrait versus landscape. So as I said at the very beginning, you know, this is the structure of the card, and you know, having it all meeting all of the extra pieces of paper together. You can also give it a little bit of a gap and just expose a little bit of the cardstock or the base that you're putting it on. So there's a couple of different options for you there. But I think for all of you, and definitely with all of the different pattern papers that we've brought with the Card of the Month kit this month, it's a great little effect. You can look at changing the position of your starburst point. So if you wanted to put it down in the corner and do everything this way, you will only just get it in, because this is a 4x6 piece of card. So your strip will just meet, but you may not get it to this corner at the top. So with this, I would suggest, if you're wanting to do it anywhere other than in the center, you're going to need to get some larger papers just to be able to do the full reach to here. So you might need a 12x12 sheet to do that, but you certainly can change the position of where you start that point, and how everything kind of fans out from there. So have a play. I'll just pop you back on here. But yeah, have a play with that little technique. I'm sure that technique will come in handy for using up your scraps, for making cards for anybody and for any occasion. It's all going to just come down to what pattern papers you've got, and what kind of look you're going for. I'd love to see some of your finished pieces on our Facebook page. So if you want to jump on there, create a post, add a photo to it, ask us, how you've gone. And I'm sure you'll have done really, really well. We really do look forward to seeing everybody's attempts at the techniques that we've tried, or how you've adapted it, so that we can all learn and grow, and be part of one big community. But that's it for the June Card of the Month tutorial. So we'll be back with another Card of the Month next month, normally on the first Saturday, but it does depend on where it falls. Keep an eye on our Facebook page for the rest of the tutorials that are coming out for this month. They are a little bit flexible at this point in time, just depending on what happens with our house move, but certainly we'll keep you in the loop as to what's going on there. So thank you once again for joining us. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and for anyone else who is in lockdown Melbourne, everybody just cross your fingers for us that we're all well behaved and we can get out of this at the end of Thursday this week, and go back to a little bit of normality again for a little bit of time. But thanks so much. Have a great weekend, everyone.